She left you unread. She vanished without a word. She ignored your messages like you were invisible. And now, weeks later, she reappears. And you, what do? You reply as if nothing happened? You play it cool and indifferent? You throw reproaches at her? Brother, this is exactly where stoicism unleashes its full power. Because this isn't just some casual conversation, it's a real test, a trial of your self-control, of your worth as a man, of your ability not to react emotionally like a hurt child. Yes, what you're about to hear isn't soft, it stings a little. But if you truly want to become a man who masters himself, a man who doesn't collapse over emotional crumbs, then stay until the end. This video isn't here to turn you into an emotionless robot. It's here to teach you how to respond with dignity instead of out of need. A lot of men fail right here because they still believe any attention is better than none. They confuse a simple contact with genuine interest. Meanwhile, they waste their respect, their time, and their energy on someone who has already shown their true value. Stoicism isn't about being cold. It's about maintaining mental clarity when emotions try to take the wheel. So, if she reappears after ghosting you, after leaving you talking to yourself, how do you respond without losing yourself? On relationship psychology, we're going to break down 10 keys, laid out in clear, direct sections, and yes, sometimes uncomfortable ones. But if you have the guts to listen all the way through, you'll walk away with a completely transformed mindset, and you'll know not only what to do, but above all, why to do it. You owe her absolutely no response. That's the foundation. Burn it into your brain. You are not obligated to reply. I know it can hurt, especially if she still matters to you, if you were waiting for that message, if every notification made you think, is it her? But listen carefully. The mere fact that she texts you after total disappearance doesn't automatically give her a right to your time. Many men feel the urge to respond out of politeness, out of maturity, or simply because emotion takes over. Yet, that's reacting out of scarcity, not out of free choice. The Stoic never acts on impulse. He acts on principles. And one of the strongest is self-respect. If she left you in silence, ignored you, didn't value you, didn't prioritize you, her return erases none of that. Replying on reflex only reinforces one thing, that you're available no matter how you're treated. And once she realizes that, the pattern repeats. She'll disappear again, come back whenever it suits her, and you'll still be there. Do you really want that? Remember this. Your time is precious, your attention is precious. Not everyone deserves access. Her silence was an active choice. Yours can be too. Not responding isn't immaturity. It's mastery. It's setting a standard. It's declaring to the world and to yourself, I don't settle for scraps. A man who respects himself doesn't react to every stimulus. He observes, thinks, evaluates, then decides with logic, not with emotional hunger. Picture this. Someone leaves your door wide open in a downpour. They disappear, your stuff gets soaked. Weeks later, they show up like nothing happened. Do you invite them right back in, demand an explanation first, or simply not open the door? That's the mindset you need. You don't owe her a response. What you owe yourself is consistency. Emotion is your worst advisor. Never decide with your heart alone. When she reappears, the first instinct for most men is purely emotional. Joy, anxiety, confusion, desire, everything mixes together. And in that whirlwind, they make stupid decisions. They forget what happened. They forget how it felt to be left unread, to ask something important and not even get an okay. And what do? They reply instantly, full of enthusiasm, as if nothing ever went wrong. That's exactly what the Stoic avoids, because he knows emotion isn't reliable for big decisions. Emotions are there to feel, not to run your life. You must internalize this. What I feel isn't always what's good for me. Feeling a rush from her message doesn't mean replying is wise. Feeling nostalgia doesn't mean she's changed. Feeling hope doesn't guarantee things will be different. Many fall into this trap. They take intense feelings as truth. But often, what you feel only mirrors your own inner emptiness, not her reality. Stoicism trains you to separate what you feel from what you know objectively. You know what she did. You know what you truly want. You know how you felt last time. So why ignore all that just because she sent a text? Pause. Breathe. Don't reply yet. Don't let a notification control your day, your mind, your mood. Don't place your self-worth in the hands of someone who already proved she can vanish whenever it's convenient. Your emotion wants to run toward her. Your mind must keep you steady. If you let emotion win, you'll fall back into the same loop. Illusions, silence, frustration, repeat. But if you choose to think before acting, you take one step closer to becoming a strong man, not just physically, but in character. Silence speaks too, and loudly. Many men focus only on what she says when she comes back. Hey, how are you? Sorry I was busy. I was thinking of you. But they completely miss the most important part, what she didn't say all that time. Silence isn't neutral, it's a clear message. When someone chooses to go quiet, to ignore, to disappear, they're communicating. That silence tells you, you weren't a priority, there wasn't real interest. If you didn't push, nothing moved. Your presence was optional. And when she returns without any honest explanation, acting like everything's normal, she's communicating again. She thinks you'll accept the bare minimum, that you don't need respect, just a bit of attention, that a simple comeback erases everything. That's when you need to stop and think hard. If you didn't give weight to her silence, if you normalized it, if now you just want to enjoy her return, you're accepting secondhand emotional treatment. Men of character don't negotiate with unjustified absence. They don't romanticize indifference. They don't excuse disinterest. You know this because you felt it in your gut. When someone ignores you, it eats at you. You think about it all day, it hits you physically. So why pretend to forget now? Why erase weeks of emptiness just because she decided to show up? That isn't maturity. It's emotional weakness. Stoicism reminds you that absence teaches too. When someone leaves you in silence, it's an active decision, and you have the power to make one too. Don't let yourself be used as a backup plan. This isn't empty pride, it's true self-respect. If you don't learn from the silence, you'll relive the exact same story. Never assume she's changed or finally realized your value. Be brutally honest with yourself. Her texting you proves nothing about change. Brother, this is where most men collapse like dominoes. They start spinning fantasies. Now everything will be different. She's reflected. She's realized what she lost. But based on what? A text? An emoji? A hey? After weeks of nothing, many men feed on a toxic fantasy. The hope that the one who ghosted them will suddenly treat them like kings just because she stepped away for a while. No. Most likely she's back because of ego, boredom, because her main plan failed, or just out of habit. Stop assuming what she's never demonstrated. Stop inventing reasons that suit you. Stop feeding yourself excuses to justify going back where you were devalued. That isn't love, it's neediness. A Stoic doesn't cling to illusions, he clings to facts. And the facts are crystal clear. She disappeared, low interest level. No explanation, lack of respect. Effortless return, she sees you as easy. Wake up, don't tell yourself she's changed just because she came back. The return doesn't prove sincere interest. It proves she knew you'd still be there. And if you're there without demanding anything, without filters, without protection, you confirm her view of you. You're not an emotional toy. You're not here for someone to appear and disappear at will. Yes, it hurts to realize the person you liked isn't who you hoped. But betraying yourself by refusing that truth hurts even more. Before replying, before dreaming of reconnection, ask yourself, what has she done differently this time? If the answer is nothing, don't lie to yourself. Avoid the trap of scarcity and the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. When she reappears, many men hear an inner voice screaming, "This is my shot." And that's exactly where they drown. That thought doesn't come from your value. It comes from scarcity, from desperation, from the fear that, if I don't take it now, she won't come back. You see it? You're acting like she's a rare prize and you're the last contestant, when she already showed she can vanish without a word. Be realistic. Do you really believe she's the only woman on earth you can connect with? The only one you'll like? The only one who'll text you? If you do, you've already lost, because you're negotiating from fear, not from strength. The Stoic doesn't operate in scarcity mode. He operates on principles, and one of them, not every opportunity is good for you, even if it looks tempting. Many fall into emotional traps disguised as second chances. But when you act from fear, you stop seeing the risks. You only see what you want to happen. And when she finally replies, you think you've won. In reality, she came back and you were right there, ready, unfiltered, unquestioning, without self-respect. That isn't winning, that's surrender. Ask yourself, am I acting because I truly want this, or because I'm afraid there won't be other chances? If it's the second, you're on the wrong path. A solid man doesn't reply out of anxiety. He replies by choice. Don't throw yourself headfirst just because she reappeared. Sometimes what looks like opportunity is just a disguised repeat. And you're not here to recycle the same cycles, you're here to break them. Replying to a message doesn't mean rekindling the relationship. It's one of the biggest and least talked about mistakes. Many think replying, everything automatically starts again. Brother, a text isn't reconciliation. A hey doesn't erase weeks of absence. A message doesn't fix a broken connection, yet tons of men fall for it. She wrote me, that means she still feels something. If I reply right, maybe we'll pick up where we left off. This is the sign. No, it's not a divine sign. It's just a message. And if you choose to reply, do it from calm, not from the desperate urge to glue things back together without examining what broke. The Stoic knows a message isn't necessarily an emotional invitation. Sometimes it's curiosity, ego, routine, or just a fleeting impulse from someone who doesn't know what they want from you. As a firm man, you can't act like a simple text changed everything. That's living in fantasy and waiting. Truth. When you use a conversation to try reviving something that never really healed, you become addicted to the illusion. And that illusion pushes you to write too much, open up too fast, show all your interest while the other side may not even have matching intent. Evaluate, observe, keep inner distance even if you reply. Because if you reply already projecting a big reconnection, you're not really talking to her. You're talking to the fantasy version you want her to be. And that's where you break. You can reply, sure, but do it with clarity, not desire, with self-respect, not blind hope. Replying isn't returning. If you don't get that, you'll mess up every time a ghost from the past resurfaces. Your dignity is never negotiable for attention. Here's a hard but necessary truth. Every time you accept less than you deserve, you silently sign a contract of low self-worth. In situations like this, when someone comes back after ignoring you, what's really at stake isn't the conversation or the connection, it's your dignity. Many men have been conditioned to think being understanding, accessible, or nice is the right thing. That replying without demanding anything makes them mature. In reality, it just teaches others they have no boundaries with you. The Stoic isn't aggressive, but he isn't a pushover either. He has standards, and those standards aren't up for negotiation, especially after being ignored, sidelined, or treated with indifference. You can be polite without being weak. You can have heart without handing over your respect. If she comes back and you act like nothing happened, the message you send is clear. Do whatever you want. I'll always be here. Is that really what you want to project? That your presence has no conditions? That your attention is free even when you're discarded? Brother, dignity is built decision by decision. Every no you say, even when it costs you. Every time you place your value above fleeting validation. And the knockout blow, if you don't respect yourself, don't expect her to. Respect isn't begged for. It's projected through actions, boundaries, consistency. Replying to someone who ignored you isn't necessarily bad, if you do it with control. But if you do it from inner emptiness, you're selling yourself cheap. And you're not here to be discounted. True dignity is being able to look in the mirror, knowing you didn't betray yourself for a few scraps of attention. Analyze the real reason for her return. When someone who ghosted you reappears, the real question isn't, what do I say to her? It's, why is she back now? Many get it wrong by focusing on the reply instead of the context. Brother, the Stoic doesn't jump into dialogue without first understanding why. Because most returns aren't sincere. Is she back because she genuinely misses you? Or more likely because she's lonely, bored, her other option failed, or she just needs a quick attention hit? Observe instead of reacting. Did she sincerely apologize, or just drop a casual hey like nothing happened? Does she want to know how you're doing, or is she throwing out a generic message to see if you still chase? Is she interested in rebuilding, or just checking if you're still available? Some people, women or men, don't really want to be with you, but they also don't want you to fully leave. They toss crumbs, occasional texts, to keep you emotionally hooked. That's not interest, it's control. And you're not here to be controlled. You're here to live free, to act consciously, not from a wounded ego begging for attention. Before replying, do a cold analysis. What intentions do you sense behind this message? Is there transparency, honesty, real intent, or just vagueness, subtle manipulation, or a momentary impulse? This isn't paranoia, it's protecting your peace. The Stoic acts when there's consistency, not when there's desire. You don't have to reply until you understand the game. And if there's no clarity, if it smells like ego dressed up as affection, silence is often the best move. Because not everything that comes back because they value you. Sometimes they just want you nearby, but not really with them. If you decide to reply, be clear, brief, and direct. If after analysis you see a minimum of clarity, no lingering grudge, or you simply want to close the chapter, then reply like a man who respects himself. Clear, short, direct. No unnecessary explanations, no wounded tone, no romantic, nostalgic, desperate mode. That's the classic mistake. They start sober, but by the second message, they're spilling how much she was missed, sending memes, songs, memories, and she instantly senses he's still all in, emotionally open with no guardrails. She'll do it again. The Stoic replies without begging, without exploding in anger, but without overflowing either. He doesn't act to convince, he acts to state who he is. So if you reply, make it firm and intentional. Simple lines like, I saw your message, everything's good on my end, glad to hear from you. What's this about? It's been a while. You doing okay? Are neutral, centered, no excess. You're not looking for a fight or euphoria. You observe, you listen, you measure. And if you spot ambiguity, little games, hints, or manipulation, shut it down. You're not here to play emotional games with someone who couldn't value you. Remember, the way you reply is a silent declaration of how much you respect yourself. If you're clear, you show her you're not the same anymore, that you're not on autopilot, that you think before reacting. And that, brother, commands respect toward her, but especially toward yourself. Because in the end, the one who controls himself holds the real power. If she comes back too easily, she'll leave just as easily. This is the rawest part. If someone can slide back into your life with zero effort, it's because they know they can exit without consequences. And that's what most men refuse to accept. You get excited because she's back. You feel something. You fill up with hope, but you don't see that this return came with no change, no accountability, no real intent. It was just easy. A text, an emoji, a superficial hey, and you're right there, open, ready, unfiltered. Do you know what that communicates? That you learn nothing, that your door stays open even after it was kicked in. Brother, hear me clearly. If someone disappears without explanation and returns with the same ease, she's not choosing you. She's just testing if she still can. And if you accept that as love, the only thing that will happen is the cycle repeating. Because an effortless return, without real conversation, without commitment, is just a pause between two abandonments. The Stoic doesn't fall into the same trap twice. He spots patterns, and a pattern of easy disappearance plus easy return. Fundamental lack of respect. You want real relationships? Then demand real processes. Conversation, transparency, responsibility, investment. Not a hey at 2 a.m., not a random message after weeks. If she came back so easily, ask yourself, is she coming back to me or to the easy access I provide? Because without filters, without standards, the message you send is, treat me however you want, you'll always have access to me. And that kills all respect. Don't be the guy people can always come back to without justification. Be the man who values himself so much that anyone who wants to stay has to invest, not just pass through occasionally. Because if she left easily and came back easily, she'll leave again. And next time the fall will hurt even more. If someone can disappear without explaining anything and you still reply when they return, you're not in love. You're conditioned. As simple as that. Stop seeing every return as a sign from destiny. Your peace can't depend on a surprise message. Your value isn't measured by someone coming back. It's measured by your ability to stay firm when the return isn't earned. I want to hear from you. Has this ever happened to you? Has someone texted you after completely ignoring you? How did you react? Drop your experience in the comments. I'll read them and reply personally. This space is for men who are waking up, who no longer sell themselves for crumbs. Let's talk, connect, build character, not dependency.